Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, I'm live. At least I think I am. I don't have a doctor with me, so I don't know whether I'm still alive or not, but I think I am. I have my friend with me tonight. You can see her. She's over here. That's Lucy. That's the little princess. She's all curled up in a little ball. She does that sometimes too. You may hear noise later on. I may have to turn the fan on. It's because my office gets pretty hot. Um, I didn't know whether I was going to make it tonight. Really, I up to a few minutes ago, I didn't have any internet, so that happens sometimes down here. Not very often, but once in a while, there's a couple of big fires in the area, so we figured that somebody you 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 tend to lose the internet, and then it overloads other circuits, and everybody else. So other people lose the internet, then just the people around the fire. It's pretty far away, so I'm not sure if that's what did it, but anyhow, it's okay now. I just hope everybody's all right in the fire, but you never know. All right, let's start off with. I'm going to wander a little bit tonight, but that's only because there's some issues that I'd like to talk about. You know that CBS canceled the late night show, right? You've all heard about that by now. Colbert's out of work, and he's right. This has nothing to do with anything other than it's retaliation from the fat guy. And get used to it, people. You only have about 6 months to a year before the media just shuts down and you don't have anything. You're going to have to find me or somebody else out there to find out what's going on in the world. And I can't find out what's going on in the world because they shut the media down. But that's one of the first steps in turning it into a fascist state or any other state. It's a funny thing. The president of Colombia made a deal with Trump. Okay, now Trump calls people communists when he gets mad at them. Petro, the president of Colombia, is a card-carrying communist and has been for 40 years or something like that. So, this is making no sense. Just before I came on, I saw that he made a deal with Japan, a trade deal with Japan, and we buy a lot more than we sell, and I don't know how big a deal that is, that trade deal. They say it's a big deal. Well, everything he does is a big deal. It's because his ass is fat. Okay, now, what else did I want to talk about tonight? I'm forgetting now. I had something else to talk about. Let's see. I can't really, I don't think I can do that, so I won't. All right, I don't want to lose the picture because I'm starting it. Um, but the way things are going, I mean, everybody's upset about Epstein, or however he pronounces his name. But look, we all know Trump's a pedophile and a scumbag. I mean, does everybody forget the quote when he was running for his first term? You can grab him by the pussy. This is a man that he was raised in an environment where money meant everything. You could buy anything he wanted. Women, cars, whatever. I don't think he's ever had a car. I don't think he knows how to drive because we saw that with the Tesla thing. He says, I don't have a driver's license. And they won't let him drive because he's the president. I don't think the president drives anywhere anymore. I don't think Obama does. Speaking of Obama, uh, that's Trump's new patsy for everything that's going wrong. Wants to investigate him for everything. The ties to Russia and everything else prior to the investigation about the ties to Russia for Trump in the 2016 election. But if you know anything about Donald, all right, you know that when he was celebrity TV or prior to his running for office, he was all upset about Obama because two things. Obama was black, and Obama was more popular than any other president that had been in quite a few years. And he was everything he did was very popular, and he had a set of balls on him. He did what he thought was right for everybody, and that's just a wonderful thing. It's It really is. I mean, the fact that we had a president that had, and for years they did that. They showed up. They would say things like, no indictments, no scandals, no nothing. I did read something recently that there's a rumor about, and it was started by Republicans, of course, that he'll be getting divorced. I think Fox News started the rumor that he and his wife are getting a divorce, and I don't see that happening. But that doesn't make him a bad guy. Neither one of them ever cheated on each other. They may not be, maybe they just don't get along anymore. I mean, you have to understand that these are two different people now than they were when he was president. Things change when you leave Oval Office. I don't think Clinton and his wife talk at all anymore. I don't think you never see them together anymore. Well, Clinton deserves that. She stayed, I think, just for the political implications if she left. But now, what you see, going back to the Colbert situation there, that's taking over the media, and that's one of the first steps that fascists do or I guess just about any totalitarian government would do that, because you want to cut them off from information. He's attacking the Department of Education because I wish my chair would stand still. They have this there's a thing where the totalitarians or authoritarian governments don't want an educated populace because it's the worst thing that can possibly happen. Because then they'll start realizing what's going on. Right now we're just as bad as the German people were during World War II, and we're letting this moron do everything until people get upset and somebody stops him. And it won't be our government that stops him, I don't think. I think some other government is going to have to step in and stop him, or he's going to do something really stupid and put us in a really bad position. But the things he does don't make any sense. He wants to do away with wind. He's doing away with wind turbines and wind power and solar power. Yet China, his biggest competitor for energy, is the leading manufacturer and seller of solar and wind power. And they manufacture all the parts in the windmills. And he goes, well, the cute little windmills. Somebody somewhere whispered in Trump's ear that it was bad because, it's better, it's more efficient than coal, and it's less polluting. And I go back to the movie. There's a movie, a good example of what I'm talking about, or what the world will look like if they continue to do this, is Rollerball. I forget who starred in it, because it's an old movie, science fiction movie. And it's about the corporation. The corporations are actually located on the moon, I think. And Earth is just a dumping ground for the workers and the manufacturing stuff, coal. You look at when they show you the videos of the area, the towns are disgusting. I mean, like you take New York City is like London fog setting or something, only it's air pollution, Apparently there are some spots, because they do show you these guys in the countryside and whatnot, but which makes sense. They'll keep Australia or something like that nice, and the rest of the world will, London, United States, big cities and like that, they're going to just turn to garbage. But the world was divided into industries and agricultural and a couple other things, I think. But you can see if you look at what's going on, he wants the average individual or the lower income, so lower than his income, type people, to be desperate and depressed and afraid to do anything, afraid to step up to the and yell and scream at him. But he's doing something with the Native Americans now. That all of a sudden, there's rumors that ICE is raiding the reservations, and young people are disappearing. If that's true, then ICE is. Phew, maybe we need another. What's the name of that location of Custer's Last Stand? Need a few people to die to stop that. I don't know how that works, but he's really a bad person, and I don't think anybody truly understands that. Um, because his supporters think he's doing a great job, and depending on how you look at it, I mean, if you pull a select bill out there, there's a couple things you could pull it out, and if you look at it, this is a great idea. This is going to work. This is good. We're going to get rich. You're not going to get rich. The rich are going to get richer. Remember that. You are not going to get rich. All right. And you got the so-called white collar workers are all, not really concerned about anything, because it's what's going to happen to them. Well, AI is going to happen to them. I read an article about that this morning. They believe AI will take most of the white collar jobs. And what are these clowns going to do? All right. They can't do anything. They can't make anything. They're used to sitting at a desk and doing nothing, writing things down. And now somebody, a machine can do, 4 machines can do what, 100 white collar workers can do. So who knows what's going to happen there? Very strange situation. I got to try this. I don't know whether this is going to work or not. If I lose you, I'm sorry. I'll come back. Right? Sounds like I didn't lose you. Okay. So, because I have to look up this headline that I was reading before. That whole running around the house trying to get internet kind of messed things up. Oh, I got it. Okay, here we go. What I can't understand is the world, not just the United States, but the world not getting upset with Israel because they're basically committing genocide. You got these people lining up for food and they get attacked, shot, killed, or helicopter or whatever they're using to attack these people with. And I think that's disgusting. Aid workers are getting hurt. It's just they just don't have any sense at all of humanity, and that really bothers me. And like I said to you, I don't discuss it with my Jewish friends because they're my friends, and I don't want to lose them as friends. I've got because they've been friends for 30 or 40 years. They're the only ones that stuck with me. And because I guess we were the only ones that were friends with them in the beginning. So you tend to stick together when that happens. I really don't understand the thought process that goes behind this. Are they seriously thinking about turning it into a play zone or whatever a resort area? Is that what they want to do with it? Well, that's what Trump wants to do with it. Again, when you talk about Donald Trump and people get excited, he's got to go. And you see this faces. Yeah, but what happens when he goes? Okay, he's not going to finish the 4 years. Something's going to pop in that brain of his or something, you know. But anyhow, what do you think you're going to get? You're going to get J.D. Vance for at least 3 years, and if he gets, and then if he decides to run and he's doing what they tell him to do, you've got something like 10 years as clown as president of the United States. You know, that just does that's a scary thought. Oh, that's a scary thought. But I don't understand what's the whole Gaza situation. I thought it was under control, but I guess the idiots in Hamas went and attacked the Jewish people, and they're not going to stand still for that, you know. And they were just looking for an excuse to go throw every weapon the United States has ever given them at you, make sure they just had to test them, in combat. That's not real combat. They don't have the weaponry to fight back, you know. Word has it is they're going to go underground and fight a guerrilla-style warfare, which they did for years. They're very good at it over there, you know. That's what and that's the other thing. When you get involved in that, that's where that English general during Vietnam, or Major General or something, I think he was, during the Vietnam War, who came out and said it's impossible for a regular army to defeat a well-supplied guerrilla army when you have a 6,000 mile or 7,000 mile long supply line. And they do. I don't care if the supplies come from Saudi Arabia. They got to get to Saudi Arabia. You know? I guess I'm wandering too much tonight. I can't seem to focus on one thing. There's just so many things that upset me. And the attitude of the people, it really bothers me, you know. I don't know. I don't. Maybe my news is being censored, but I don't see the protesters in the streets. Million marchers going to D.C. They're afraid of that because they're afraid of a secret police. You know. Look, even China had to get liberal at one point in time. This ultra-conservative, totalitarian government, when you don't really have a government. That's the thing. Have you ever looked at the qualifications of these people that are running these things? They're starting to go after them now because they're just not qualified. They're totally and completely unqualified for the positions that they're in. Maybe one or two of them are, I don't know, but they're lesser positions. You're going to take apart the Department of Education. So what does that mean? Well, it means probably schools don't get funded. The towns, cities start giving you the curriculum. People start wanting religion back in the schools. Look, I didn't even pledge allegiance to the flag during the Vietnam, my senior year because I was just so pissed. I'm not against the country. I'm just against the school, the way that teachers treated us with that, the Pledge of Allegiance. And then the same thing with when I was in Catholic school. That was a ridiculous thing. You can't question those nuns and the priests. They don't allow it. There's no free discussion. Maybe you get lucky in some schools, but there's no free discussion. You're not going to discuss the difference between creation and evolution. That's not going to happen. Because if you believe in creation, then there's something wrong with you because there's no way God would have made Donald Trump. Okay, he is a product of evolution gone wrong. He is a product of somebody that thinks he knows everything that doesn't know everything, you know. And I tell you, I know a little about a lot of different things. Enough to start a conversation. And I used to do that when I was a bartender for about 30 years. And I was able to do that. And, and what happens is I take that and I learn things from the people I'm talking to. I think that's probably one of the best ways you can learn is in discussion, you know, with other people. This, if you're at least smart enough to listen to them, you know, and then you can pick out what you think is, you know, uh, what you like about that conversation, and you're not going to hate. Very seldom can you sit down with somebody and hate every word that comes out of their mouth, except, except you know it's coming, except when you listen to Donald Trump. That's yeah, you know, and people don't know him as a human being. They see him as a financier, and some people admire his ability to. And I did for a while until I realized how he was doing it. But you, they admire his spunk, so. But the thing is that every word that comes out of his mouth is a lie, and that's not just. A narcissist, that's a pathological liar. I think that's what he is. He's I don't want to use the term insane, but he's mentally disabled. That's for sure. And it's I mean, he had the greatest opportunity in the world. He had a major victory in his second term. He could have done so much good for this country, and he thinks he is, but he's only doing it for the rich people. And sooner or later, like I said, it's like the white collar jobs disappear, management jobs disappear because there's going to be AI. By the time they're done, nobody will recognize the United States, and the United States will be a third world country. You know, the country I think that's going to come take over in the area of the world is Africa. If they can stop fighting each other. Oh, excuse me. If they can stop fighting each other and killing each other. They have the people, they have the resources, they have everything. You know, they need to control their populations. They need to stop fighting with each other uh, and put their heads together. And there's some brilliant people over there, especially in the artistic fields, poetry and art and whatnot. Those people have some talent, and they're not stupid. You know, they're not ignorant. And Trump thinks all black people are stupid and ignorant. And if you don't believe that, trust me, that's what he thinks. You can see it in his conversations. But I'll tell you, I used to be able to read Trump, you know, but you can't read him anymore. So that means that the psychosis or the pathology is really taking over, and he's definitely just a moron now. He's just, you know, says whatever he feels like saying. He knows he's not going to get reelected. That part about going for a third term, no, that's not going to happen. Even if the only way that would happen if he was like in his 40s now. It's not going to happen. He just turned 79. And I didn't realize I'm older than he is. 6 months older than he is. You know? And I'm pretty sure I'm more together mentally than he is. Because I don't sit there and have people whispering in my ear, you know. But we had our chances when everybody heard about that Project 2025. We had a shot of stopping it back then. There's no stop. There's no way you're going to stop it now. You know, I get my friends that, you know, get on the internet and they put up these articles, you know, about Colbert and how people are protesting him and everything. And my friends are my age or close to it, you know. And let me tell you, they have no remembrance of being a child. and the history that went on back then. I don't think they learned anything in school, history-wise. They're smart people. Don't get me wrong, but they didn't pay attention in history class. And that saying goes: those that uh, don't pay attention to history are going to repeat it. That's not the exact quote. I forgot it, but what am I going to do? All right. And nobody's talking to me tonight, so I guess nobody's watching me tonight either. That's all right. But do me a favor. I do this at the end of my videos during the week and whatnot, on my daily videos. Do please hit the subscribe button. If there is one at the bottom of the page, bottom of the video, I don't know whether they are or not. But subscribe to my channel. You get to see me once a week. For now, maybe maybe it won't be that many times a week, or maybe I don't know. But right now, I'm trying to do it once a week, Tuesdays at night, because I project the future, and there's nothing going on Tuesday nights. I don't want to do Monday night because football season will come around and I watch Monday Night Football, and I don't no doubt about that. We'll be doing football though when the time comes. Anything to get out of this rut of just talking about politics, which is depressing, and I don't want to contribute to the depression of other people, which I think I do when I do these things. But I couldn't find a real fun topic. I mean, I can sit here and spend a half an hour talking about my dog, Lucy. She moved in here. She heard me. But I can move this out of the way and you can see her. Okay, that's Lucy. But that's not going to interest anybody. I tell you, I picked up a subscriber last week. Nice guy. I talked to him. Seems like a nice guy. These people that I was surprised that made 10 people, and YouTube got so excited about it. Congratulations! And I'm going, it's only 10 people. You told me I need 2,000 people to monetize the system. So I'm not about to do that. I don't have the money to promote this thing, and I really am not even going to promote it. So anyhow, hit the subscribe button, comment, like or dislike, whatever you want to do. It's fine with me. It doesn't cost you any money. I'm not going to get rich off of it. It just makes me feel good, that people take the time to subscribe and say, hey, how you doing? Great show. Or sorry I subscribed, you suck. I haven't had one of those yet. Most of the people that subscribe I know personally. The last 2 people that did sign up I don't know personally. So I'm subscribed to most of the subscribers' websites if they have them. A lot of them don't. It's funny. I guess my friends are getting older because they used to do these videos and they were arty and artsy, and they would do music and stuff like that. They don't do that anymore. They don't even come on the air anymore. It's like I had a friend of mine very talented. I know I'm way off the line here, but I had a friend that was very talented, and he wrote good songs and stuff like that. And I said, well, why don't you just do something with it? He never did. Now I got the same thing with my grandson. My grandson's got all this music stored, and I said, hey, it's not going to do you any good. By the time you get around to releasing it or trying to sell it, it's going to be outdated. You guys got to do it now. What's the big deal? What do it cost you $50 or something to copyright a song or something like that? Do it. See what happens. You never know. Some of you, maybe it's a good idea you don't do that. But try writing a book. Try carving wood. Try painting. Try crayons. Whatever you want. All right, look, that's about it for me tonight. Uh, I hope that I don't bore people too much, and I hope somehow or another that I'll get you to watch this next week. All right. So take care, everybody, and I'll see you. I'll see you next Tuesday night. But you can pick up one of my videos. I'll be doing a video tomorrow morning, and then I post it to YouTube, and you can just watch it whenever you want. Or maybe you can take screenshots of it, put it on the wall, and throw darts at it, whatever you like. Okay. Take care. I'll see you next week.